This is Roscoe, and we just get done doing a targeting exercise. Target. He's a very smarty pants. In this video, I'm going to show you actually a focus exercise. Now, there's another dog that she's a little bit nervous about having new people around, and so if you hear any grumbling from a dog off camera, that's her. That's Xena. And she's a great dog, but she's just very insecure, and they've gotten in some fights. Now, he came in as a puppy. Xena was already an adult, and once he started getting a little bit older, he started challenging her, and now they've gotten into some pretty not great fights. So, I was talking to the guardian, and one of the guardians who's filming this right now is very astute. She recognized there's certain signs, things that they do before the fight. For most dogs, in my experience, the stare is often the first sign or the first warning, and then it escalates and it turns into a fight. So what I want to do in this video is I'm going to show you how to teach your dog to look at you in the face on command. Now, I teach this differently than dog trainers do. I'm a dog psychologist. So if a trainer asks you to do this, what they'll do is they have a treat and they'll hold it like this, the dog looks up, and then they give the dog the treat. Well, that is an easy way of doing it and accomplishes the primary goal of getting the dog to look at me. However, as a dog psychologist, I'm looking for alternatives and deeper meanings. So for dogs, when they are producing cortisol, that's the stress hormone that goes into their blood. It accelerates their breathing or respiratory and prepares you for fight or flight. It's healthy in short bursts, and it gives you that spidey sense, but in long bursts, it can be detrimental. Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin are pleasure endorphins, positive endorphins, and those go into your brain. And your body cannot produce the dopamine and all the rest of those when it's producing cortisol. So it's one or the other. Now, if your dog voluntarily looks in the eyes for longer than 9 seconds, it starts releasing oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine into your brain. But if you lure the dog, it doesn't actually release any of that. So the way that I do this is I have a handful of treats here. They are really stinky treats, as you can see. I'm going to hold one between my thumb and forefinger. If you notice, there's no wet spot right here. There's going to be a wet spot right here in a minute. So what I do is I have the bulk of them here and one here. I want my hands to look uniform, so I'm going to put them right here. The dog's going to go where the smell is strongest. And what I'm doing is I'm watching the dog's eyes. The only way that he's going to be able to get this is by looking at me in the face. No matter what he does, I'm not going to move my hand, and that's why I'm holding it between a thumb and forefinger and then shielding it against my knee. Now he's going to look at it, and that's going to give me the wet spot. Now when you're doing this, make sure you watch your dog's eyes intently. The first couple times, the dog will only look at you for a fraction of a second. Sometimes it's just a quick eye dart, and if you miss it, it might take 15 minutes before it does it again. The whole point is, as soon as the dog looks at me in the face, I'm going to raise the treat to my nose, and then I'm going to go straight to the dog's mouth. I'm raising my nose because I want to maintain the dog looking at me. Now, if the dog's just staring at the treats, it's almost like objectifying the treat, just like if we have a pretty woman who's filming it where she's like, my head is up here. It's the same sort of principle. So he just kind of is thinking, I'm just going to get the treat. I'm just zoned in on the treat. I want him to recognize if I don't know what to do, I want to look to the human for some guidance. And I want to also condition him to do this on command. Now, I'm going to use the word focus as the command word. Now, when I raise it to my nose, this is usually a little bit faster than this, so I might cheat for him in a minute, but usually I like to try to let them figure it out on their own. So as soon as he looks at me in the face, not necessarily in my eyes, I'm going to raise it to my nose, and then I'm going to go straight to his mouth. And then when I pop in his mouth, I'm going to say the word focus. Now, after doing that, I'm going to immediately reload so he knows we're still playing the game, and then keep on playing this. I usually do this about 12 treats in my hand, and taking this case to higher court. Because somebody else tell this guy that there's treats in his hand I can't get access to, and he needs to give them to me. Now, first when I raise it up, it's going to be 1 second to my nose, and then turn around immediately, going straight to his mouth and say the word. Eventually, I'm going to raise it to my nose in 1 second, and then I'm going to spend 15 seconds going from my nose towards his mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat for him right now. I normally don't like doing this, but it's been a lot longer than most dogs will normally look, so he's very determined with the smell. Focus. So I just did the breath to get him to look up at me. All right, see the wet spot? There we go. Now, as we're doing this, what we should start seeing is the dog recognizes the licking and pawing and chewing at the treat doesn't get it to him, but as soon as the dog looks at the human, it gets the treat. Now, like I said, I like to do this in an operant conditioning sort of way, waiting for the dog to do it on its own, blowing a couple times because I'm giving the dog the opportunity to figure this out. Xena's like, I could do it. If she wasn't such a scaredy pants, she would.
He knows you're doing it.
She's really smart. Aren't you, Xena?
And that's all right. We're going to ignore that. Roscoe, you sit right here, buddy. You're focusing on the right thing. Focus. Always say the treat word after it goes in the dog's mouth. Might be getting closer. He's very determined. Now, part of the reason I think she's barking is I was orientated in the chair over here, facing me, and now I'm kind of looking, or at least my orientation is towards her. And that's okay. We're just going to let her do her thing. This is mostly for you guys, and she's not barking too much. Focus. Focus. That was a good one. Now, if she is coming, she starts grumbling like this would be a great, once she knows how to do this command, to call her over to you and practice doing this. So I'm waiting for her, for him to do is look at me on his own. So he's still objectifying the treat.
So close.
Focus. Good job, buddy.
Oh, there we go.
Focus. Focus. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. There's no Amazon out there, buddy. Oh. Focus. Now, once you get to, now I'm going to count out so it should the durations. 1 second, 1 second. Focus. Whoops. Oh, you gotta catch it, buddy. Focus. So eventually you want to do it like this. 1 second. Focus. See how he started leaning in towards me? He's like, I'm going to come and get that. We want to just wait there passively. And that's because I went from 1 second to like trying to go to 15 seconds. So the idea is 1 second, 1 second for all 12 treats. Then after he starts staring at you pretty much right away, then it's going to go 1 second, 2 second on the second movement. Let's see if you can figure this one out. 1 second, 2 seconds. Focus for all 12 treats. Then the next time, 3 seconds. Not necessarily each next time. The dog needs to stare at you the duration of this. And if you go from 4 to 5, and at 4 he keeps on turning around, then go back and practice at 4. The idea for this is within 7 days, you want to be able to maintain that 15-second focus like this. Focus. Well, a lot of people do it. They go like this, and then they look, and now the dog's looking down. So hold it here and pop the treat in the dog's mouth. So it's, when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing the dog's eyes and the treat the whole time kind of as a triangle. Don't just do it right here. Dogs don't generalize well. They have to practice things in different variations. So different rooms, different times of the day. And I would do it without the other dog, without Xena here. And I practice this with both dogs. So this is something that would be very beneficial with Xena because she is eye contact dominant. So we need her to practice looking at you in the eyes and have that be a positive thing and condition her to do that. Then when we have guests come over, I would first have the guests practice dropping treats and just letting her approach kind of like I've been doing in the session. And then eventually playing catch with her. So she can play catch at whatever distance she feels comfortable. And when she gets close enough where she feels comfortable getting this close, then the guest can play focus. Now, when the guest does it, you should do it with their foes. Maybe you're sitting here, you do like 5 or 10, then hand the guest some, and then she looks up at them. Focus. This will help her get over her eye contact dominance issue. Now, when he's staring at her, make sure we do disagree. When he stares at her, you should say focus. And both dogs, if you practice this right, should stop what they're doing looking up at you. Now, when you do this all over the house, in the house, though, for the first week. But you want to, they will get bored with this. So make sure you get to 15 seconds within a week. Once that's the case, then we want to do it in a slightly more challenging situation. Let the dog go outside and fart around and sniff and get all of its sniffs in. Then go outside and do it on the back porch. So now you have all the sights and sounds and smells, but I've already smelled everything I want to smell, so there's not anything pulling me. But now I'm being able to focus amongst light distractions. So you want to keep on doing this until eventually you get up to 15 seconds. Now outside, you've already established the exercise, so you don't have to start out and go one for all. Maybe you go 1 second for 5 treats, then 1 second, 2 seconds for 5 treats, and the last 2 treats, 1 second, 3 seconds. You move faster. Now, eventually you want to get to the point where you can do this on walks. Now, when I'm doing it on walks, I do it when the dog's walking next to me and there's nobody around. Every once in a while, I just say, focus, the dog looks up at me, boom, boom, as I'm walking, don't stop. And eventually, 2 seconds, then 3 seconds, and eventually the dog's like running into stuff because it's not even looking where it's going, it's looking up at you. So this is a great exercise that you can do if Xena is focusing or staring at him, or vice versa. You can get, if she growls or if he stares, give them the focus exercise, get them to look up at you, and then redirect them into doing something else. All right, well, these are tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that has problems with staring, and how you can teach your dog to focus.